Today, the world is buzzing with some of the most intense geopolitical news we have seen in years. President Trump has announced a ceasefire with Iran, but as the dust settles, the market is reacting with a mix of relief and massive uncertainty. While the art of the deal is back in the headlines, the XRP charts are telling a story of a battle right here at home, specifically at the 1.32 price level or 1.3211, which is our currently major support. Is the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz going to be the beautiful thing that stabilizes global markets? Or are we looking at a temporary calm before a technical storm? In this video, we are diving deep into the technicals, looking at a very specific shift in our Hall suit indicator right here and the QQE mod indicator, while we break down how the situation in the Middle East could dictate the flow of capital into XRP. So we have got a lot to cover, so let's get straight into the charts. So, why is the 1.32 price level the most important number here on our screen right now? So let's look at the immediate price action. XRP is currently sitting at $1.33. It's exactly at 1.3319 right now. If you have been watching my previous updates, you know that $1.3211 right here was a major resistance level before. This gave us a lot of trouble. And the good news, this price level has been broken again. And as of today, it is officially serving now as our current major support. So, in my own experience, a major resistance flips to support and the price hovers just above it. We are in a springboard phase. The market is testing the floor or this floor to see if it is solid. However, we have to look at the daily candles. Yesterday's candle right here was bearish. So let's zoom it so we can have a much better view of the candlesticks that has been formed. So it got rejected exactly right here at 1.3833 minor resistance. Even today, the candle is looking a bit heavy right above the $1.32 support right here. So to me, this shows that while the floor is there, the ceiling is still very much active. So we have a very tight range right here. Our major support at 1.3211 in here, and we have minor resistance levels at 1.3833 right here, and let's include the other minor resistance, which is 1.4371 right here. If 1.3211 fails to hold this major support, the safety net is all the way down to 1.2234. This is our next major support below. To me, this shows that while the floor is still there, the ceiling is still very much active. So we have a very tight range right here. So how about the Halsett indicator? As we can see, our Halsett indicator right here seems to be about to flip. This is the part of the chart that has me leaning forward in my chair. For a while now, the Halsett indicator right here has been red and have been curving downward. This is a classic bearish signal. If you look at it closely at today's let's zoom it pretty much very close so we can see the difference or the changes on its formation. So see, as we can see, we can notice or observe that it seems to be slightly curving. It is slightly curving to go flat. So a flattening halt suit indicator after a downward curve is like a car slamming on the brakes before making a U-turn. It doesn't mean we are going up yet, but it means the downward momentum is losing its grip. So in my trading diary, I call this the neutral zone. We are waiting for the red to turn gray or green. If the halt suit goes flat while we stay above the $1.32 major support right here, that is a massive win for the bulls. So let's look at our QQE mod alongside these. So there's our QQE mod indicator below. We saw here a small bearish gray bar on April 17, which is followed by a blank or a gap yesterday. And today we are seeing another small gray bar that is being formed. This lack of a solid growing red bar tells me the sellers are hesitant. They aren't slamming the market, they are waiting, just like we are. So let's go back to the news and let's talk about Trump's Strait of Hormuz deal impact on the liquidity of XRP. All right, President Trump is floating a joint venture idea where the U.S. and Iran would charge tolls for ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Senator Lindsey Graham and other hawks are already raising alarms, calling it a reward for hostile acts. In my own personal opinion, why does this matter for us? Because the Strait of Hormuz is the world's most important oil choke point. The toll or joint control affects the global economy and, more importantly, the strength of the US dollar. In this year, 2026, XRP is positioned as the bridge currency for high-speed settlements. If the Strait of Hormuz becomes a joint venture profit center, we are looking at a new era of complex international trade that requires the exact type of liquidity XRP provides. In my own technical perspective right here, if the geopolitical tension stays high, we usually see a risk of sentiment, which would push XRP toward the $1.22 support right here, which is our next major support. But if Trump successfully turns a foe into a business partner, as the news suggests, we could see a massive risk-on rally. In that scenario, the resistance at 1.43 and 1.56 would be likely to be tested within days. So this is the 1.4371, which is a minor resistance, and the 1.5672, which is our major resistance. So why is the 10-point peace plan creating market uncertainty? Let's go back to the news. The news reports that Trump called Iran's 10-point peace plan a workable basis, even though hawks like Mark Levin are calling it a disaster. The plan includes lifting all sanctions and recognizing Iran's right to enrich uranium. So, in my own personal opinion, market uncertainty is usually the enemy of price growth. But for XRP, sanction news is a double edged sword. If sanctions are lifted and Iran is reintegrated into global banking, the demand for cross border payment rails explodes. We are talking about billions of dollars in block capital suddenly needing a way to move. I believe the workable basis Trump is talking about is secretly a utility basis for digital assets. In my own technical perspective, let's watch the daily close. Again, let's zoom in our candlestick right here so we can notice the daily close. If the bearish candles continue to form just above the 1.32 major support right here, it means the market is digesting the Iran news. We are waiting for Caroline Leavitt or the White House to clarify the private deal details. Until that happens, the technical flatness of the whole suit indicator right here is our best guide. It tells us that the market is in a wait and see mode. So the next question is what happens if 1.32 dollar support right here fails to hold? Of course, we have to be prepared for both sides. Even though the ceasefire is a win, there is a genuine concern among Trump's allies about the concessions. If the deal falls apart or if Israel continues to strike Lebanon, we could see a liquidity flush. So, in my own personal opinion, if we lose the 1.32 dollar major support right here, don't panic. The major support at 1.2234 right here, which is our next major support, has historically been a zone of massive institutional buying. To me, a dip to this major support, 1.22, would be the ultimate bear trap before a Clarity Act fueled breakout later this month. As a trader, I keep my stops tight, but my eyes are on the long-term goal. Our QQE mod indicator right here has formed a blank bar yesterday. This is a sign of a volatility squeeze. Usually, after a blank day on the QQE, the next move is explosive. Because today's bar is a small gray bar, the explosion hasn't happened yet. We are the calm right now. Whether it's Trump's tall idea or breakthrough in the Clarity Act, the fuse is lit. So, what is the final strategy for this week? So, let's summarize. The We are at a current price of it went down from 1.33 to 1.32 right now. It's 1.3286 to be exact. We are sitting on a top of a freshly flipped support at 1.3211 right here. The whole suit is finally flattening out, but we are still unsure about that. And the QQE mod is showing exhausted sellers. So, I'm watching the Strait of Hormuz headlines as closely as I watch our candlesticks right here. So if we see a freedom of navigation agreement that sticks, it removes the global hostage weapon Iran has been using. This is the stability the crypto market needs to move higher. So I am staying bullish as long as 1.3211 major support here holds on the daily close. So the goal is break the minor resistance at 1.3833. As for the confirmation, we need to wait for the halt suit indicator to turn flat to green. But the danger zone is a daily close below 1.3211. And this finally ends our video. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one.